Two Big Ten rivals, Michigan and Michigan State, square off in East Lansing. Who takes it tonight?
This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Friday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network. Our final January show. We'll be back with you Monday, and the calendar turns to February, getting set for Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks and the Patriots. All the big prop plays are out there. Also, the National Anthem. We're going to go over that coming up a little bit later on. Charlie Puth, he'll be singing it. Minute 59. Will he go over or under? We're going to hit on that. Also, UFC 325 Down Under in Australia. We're going to hit on that as well. But first, a couple of college basketball plays and the game of the night, maybe the game of the weekend. Michigan and Michigan State, they hook up in East Lansing.
What the fuck?
WTF.
Dusty May's Wolverines, they rally past Nebraska, handed the Cornhuskers their first loss earlier this week, and didn't cover the big number. Michigan now a short favorite at Michigan State against Tom Izzo's Spartans. Both teams 9-1 in Big Ten play, along with Nebraska and Illinois, so a nice four-way tie atop the conference. Lee, what do you like here with the Wolverines and the Spartans?
Isn't it strange? This is usually a Saturday afternoon or Saturday night game to play it on a Friday night. I was shocked when I saw the schedule a couple of days ago, but so be it. Another reason to stay in and watch a high-level basketball game here. I have actually been to one of these rivalry games. It was in East Lansing back in the day. Tim Hardaway Jr. Was playing, and right in front of me was Urban Magic Johnson. So it was a fun event to witness. But this one is going to be in East Lansing, and both of these teams are a lot to like. Jeremy Fears Jr., what a game last game. Poured in 29 points and had 9 assists in that game, and their comeback win. Carson Cooper was really strong on the boards that night. They shot 49%. They were 92% from the free throw line, even pulled down 45 rebounds. What was crazy was they only led for 16% of the game. So don't see that with most good teams. And on the other side, Michigan in that game against Nebraska, what a game that was. Morez Johnson Jr., 17 points, 12 rebounds, and Elliot Cadeau, he was a really nice facilitator on that game, had 7 assists. They weren't quite as good from the free throw line, 83%, and not as good at rebounding the basketball, which has been a little bit of a problem for them late. They're still winning a lot of games, but didn't cover, only 35 rebounds. So Yaxel Lenderberg has led this team in scoring, 14.2 points per game. But they're pretty balanced, their scoring. So many things I like with both of these teams. This is a game I kept looking at over and over. And you know what? I forgot about this. Home court advantage is huge in these games. Michigan State won at home last year. And, you know, you've got an experienced coach. I mean, May, take nothing away from him, like him also for Michigan, but he hasn't coached here too many times here. And until you get over the hump and you beat Michigan State at Michigan State, that's a tough thing to get over here. So I think, like I said, a lot of things I like with both teams, but sometimes the difference, home court advantage here. We're going to go with a wrong team favored. I like Michigan State plus the 1.5 at home against Michigan tonight. Should be a great game.
Yeah, and looking forward to this. The Big Ten, you have a lot of haves and have-nots. The top is really good and the bottom's really bad. So you have the really good going at it tonight. And after this evening, the leader will be 10-1 in the Big Ten heading into the weekend action. Another college basketball game we're going to take a look at. It's now time for our Hidden Gem.
The find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
Look at a game, Lee, inside the American tonight between Rice and Charlotte. This is actually a game that was pushed up to tonight due to bad weather all over the country. So they're trying to make things work. And this game was scheduled for tomorrow, but they're playing it tonight in Charlotte. And we're going to take the total of this game under 142.5. The first meeting in Houston, Charlotte won 74-73 back on January 11th. The game went over 137.5. So tonight's game moved up 5 points. Also, there were 51 combined points scored in the final 10 minutes of that game. So it was trending under, and a big finish there ends up going over. Now, both these teams off high-scoring games their last time out. Rice beating East Carolina 83-77, easily going over 140.5. Charlotte knocked off Temple in overtime 80-76, over 140.5 as well. And both these teams, the tempo, not exactly there in American play. 11th and 13th in the conference. So I think we're going to have a little bit of a slower game, something high 60s, maybe low 70s for one team, high 60s for the other. But I like the under here between Charlotte and Rice, under 142.5 as our hidden gem.
Yeah, I like it because of the fact of, number one, regression, and also getting on a plane maybe a day earlier than you had planned. That has to affect these kids also, and maybe thinking about the weather and the reason why they moved this game up. So, yeah, I don't see that many points scored late in the game like we saw in the past. So, yeah, a little bit of regression here. You know, maybe we see 69-65 game. We cash a ticket.
Yeah, and we'll see if that comes through tonight. And on Saturday, it's like 160 or 170 games in the docket. So there's a lot. So start your handicapping like yesterday so you can get that going with all these games coming up on a Saturday. Quick recap from last night. Obviously, one of the picks we're still waiting on, Kenneth Walker and his receiving yards, because they haven't played the Super Bowl yet. But did split the two NBA plays. You did win, Lee, on the Timberwolves as they took care of the Thunder. I had the Bucks. They were down the whole game to the Wizards. They rallied a little bit in the fourth quarter, but still end up losing. But good pick there on Minnesota. As a quick note on Oklahoma City, they're still going to go far, barring injury. But do you think here, what are we seeing, or what are you thinking with Oklahoma City where we're not seeing that domination like we saw earlier in the season?
Well, I think they got off to a fast start, and you know, that high of winning the championship, and then the public, you know, gets on their backs and thinks, you know, this might be the year we see a team lose maybe 5, 6, 7 games during the year and break the record. You know, the complacency just comes in, and you know, these teams are going to take shots at you. They're going to give you their best shot. And Minnesota's a team that's, you know, been there the last couple of years. They're on the cusp of making, you know, something big happen and maybe getting to a finals or winning it. And the game was much bigger for Minnesota than it was Oklahoma City, and it showed.
Yeah, and again, you see how long the schedule is, that these teams just can't sustain it no matter what. Scheduling spots, travel, injuries, it's just too tough. No matter how good you are, it's very, very hard to lose 5 or 6 games out of 82. It's very hard to lose 15 games out of 82. So we'll see how Oklahoma City rebounds moving forward. Coming up, we do have UFC 325 and several plays there from Australia. Also, the National Anthem. Get your stopwatches out for that one. We're going to talk about the National Anthem for the Super Bowl coming up next week. In just a bit, you are listening to the Friday edition of Locked On Bets. Say now about FanDuel, because you know what? We are getting closer and closer. It's that last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. It comes to an end. The final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. It's Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. You want to take the favorite Seahawks, you want to take the underdog Patriots, maybe moneyline the Patriots if you're feeling frisky, or take the total of the game. You have so many choices here with Super Bowl 60. Also, besides just taking teams, you have all the props, you have player props. You look at the quarterback, Sam Darnold or Drake May. You look at JSN for his receiving props. Kenneth Walker, the Seahawks, as rushing props. So many different players out there. And also, maybe like just the first quarter, the first half, something like that. A lot of different props you could choose from. Just so many choices here for the final game of the season. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, season's over. Football's done for several months. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We continue the Friday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. We move now to Australia, UFC 325, and looking forward to today's blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
So a couple interesting twists here, Lee. The road to the UFC, for those that don't know much about it, getting some amateur fighters here, trying to make it to the end and seeing what they could do moving forward in UFC. Among that, what do you like with UFC 325 in Australia?
Yeah, so they're actually professionals, but I guess if you're not in the UFC, I even think of them as amateurs. But what they've done is, they want to have an international audience. The more people, more eyes watching these telecasts, means more money to the UFC, and they've done a great job. I think there's only one champion, and I think it's Justin Gaethje right now, who hails from the United States. So what they've done is the rest of the card, I think it's the final 9 fights on the undercard and also the main card are UFC fighters, but they've developed kind of a tournament where they have quarterfinals, finals, semifinals. They've done this maybe once or twice before, and these will be the finals in 3 other different weight classes, and whoever wins is going to win a UFC contract. They award them, I think, 3-fight contract, but they can cut them at any time. It's like the NFL. They start them off at probably 10 or 15,000, but you're in the major leagues, and that's big. And so they have these fights from fighters all over the world, and the fight that I'm looking at is going to be the fight. I think it's the fight right before they start the undercard. So it's the early prelims, and it's a fighter from Queensland, Australia. So he's one of I think there's only 2 fighters from Australia on this card. And his name is 25-year-old Dom Street Buddha Marfan. And he was nicknamed, I think he was the Street Fighter before, when I was watching a lot of other of his fights that he fought in the past, but now he's Street Buddha. So 25-year-old Don Street Buddha Marfan, and he's a 150 favorite, and he's fighting a fighter that different spellings. I've seen it 2 words, 3 different words, Sang Woo Kim. Now, sometimes, like I said, it's Sangwook, and then the last word Kim. Some others are together, 1 word, Sang-woo. But his nickname is the Frogman. The take back on this fight is plus 120. He's a 32-year-old, 13-3 record fighting Marfan. And when I'm watching videos, and sometimes it's hard, they're a little grainy, they're the cameras, it's not like the UFC where they're positioned, where they really have a great view. But from what I can see, and like I said, I had to go back and I watched each fighter fight like 4 or 5 fights. Sang-woo Kim, he's a pressure fighter. He wants to get on top of you. His hands, he's average at best, striker. But on the other hand, Dom Marfan, good striker. I think he's going to win the positional battle. Sang-woo Kim might be on top once or twice, but I think Marfan will be on top more. I think he is the better grappler. I think he's better at getting submissions, a little stronger also. Probably there is a chance he could end up with a submission, Marfan. But I think there's a better chance that we're going to see a decision, win it 2-1, maybe 3-0, but probably 2-1. This almost made my card. I like this fight a lot, but to show you how much I like this card this Saturday night, didn't even make the card. But we're going to go with Dom, the Street Buddha, Marfan, minus 150 over Sang-woo Kim, the Frogman here. It's going to be my blowout special. And also just a reminder, because I get a lot of DMs and emails. I can't find it. It's on Paramount, and the main card starts at 9 o'clock. This fight, the early prelims start at 5 Eastern, so this is probably going to start about 6:30 Eastern, this fight in particular.
All right, so looking forward to that card coming up in Australia on Saturday. And again, we're a week away, a little more than a week away from Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks and the Patriots. And, you can't start the game without a national anthem, as simple as that. So we are now transitioning to our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Charlie Puth, he's going to sing the national anthem coming up next Sunday between the Seahawks and the Patriots for Super Bowl 60. And his prop for how long the anthem will go is 1:59, Lee. So what is your analysis here if he'll go over or under that number?
All right, so very popular, Charlie Puth, singing the national anthem. He's never sang it before. Never sang a national anthem you can find anywhere. He has played it on the piano, and it's much shorter. So he has done an interview, and in that interview, I believe he talked, it was on the Ryan Seacrest show, talked about his admiration for Whitney Houston. Both of them are New Jersey natives. And there's also going to be a choir and an orchestra with him. And he really looks up to Whitney Houston. That's the standard of national anthems. I don't think there's anyone even close to it. This is as per my daughter. I don't do this. She's 11-0-1. And the one push that we give my daughter, it was the one that went over. I think it was Reba McEntire. She repeated the last line again. It's supposed to end on Home of the Brave, and she repeated the last line. Most sports books paid out both sides as goodwill. Last year, so that was 2 years ago. Last year, she had the under. It finished under by a second. Before that, most of them were 5, 10, 15-second winners, one way or the other. But she really studies it, and she feels strongly that this is going to go over. She just feels that she thinks that Charlie Puth wants people to hear his arrangement, and she thinks it's going to be a moment here. She thinks it's going to be really special. So we're going to go over 1:59 for the national anthem. Try to start off the game big here. Put a winner in our pocket before they even kick off here. This is going to be our level 3 lock. We're going all the way up.
All right, let's see. Get that winner. Get it going before the game even starts. So we're keeping an eye on that next Sunday in Santa Clara. So with the big game coming up, Lee, college basketball, huge Saturday coming up. The big game between Michigan and Michigan State tonight. Also NBA and NHL. What's going on with Paramount Sports heading into February?
Yep, you want to get our Super Bowl winner, top 15 prop plays on the website, ParamountSports.com. It's listed at $147. Use coupon code SAVE50, just $97. We've hit 5 of the last 6, won 5 of the last 6 Super Bowl selections. And we also have won 9 of the last 10 years, giving top 10 prop plays. But there's so many good ones, we increased it to 15. So you can have more fun and hopefully win even bigger. And basketball and hockey. College basketball last night went 3-0. You want to hop on those. They're both listed for $7.97. You can take each one individually through the finals in mid-June, or take both together, just $1,000. Or if you want to do one sport or the other and mix it with a year of UFC selections, just $1,000. Pick and choose whichever two you want. How do you get it? ParamountSports.com or call 800-400-9741.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as our podcast edition. You could find Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Type in Locked On Bets, and you will find us there. And again, we appreciate your support on those platforms. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Locked On Bets. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.